Hello everyone, this is Demon Phoenix with the second episode of my Deathmatch playthrough. I will be continuing this playthrough and putting all the episodes together and everything. Do have to balance it with some in real life things, so please bear with me. But hopefully you enjoy this episode. Just continuing with White Orchard, we'll be clearing out the Devil in the Well contract and a few of the other undiscovered locations. If you do enjoy the playthrough, then please make sure to like, comment and subscribe, as it really helps me out. And my commentary will pick up now with where we left off. So Tamira's a very interesting little place because there's plenty of good stuff to pick up. Some of it's common, some of it not so common. So grab all these plants and everything, they're free, you might as well. You get some molly arrow just to pick those up. You don't need to like loot things all through the game, but early on it's a very good idea to loot things quickly and early and often, because you'll need some of the stuff to create alchemy and alchemy ingredients, and you only need to create them the once, and then you can just meditate and get them back for the cost of 1 alcohol in total for all of your alchemy stuff. And that's why alchemy is very useful, because it gives you some very powerful useful effects, and then you can just use alcohol to get it all back. So you pick up some of this stuff and then we'll go and speak to Tamira. And the reason that we made that swallow was very important, because we're going to try and help Lena there. So okay. Right, so if you do this bit, asking about did the Griffin do that and all this kind of stuff, then you'll get the option to either say that you could try and help her, which you might as well, which your potions aren't for humans. So yeah, if you've made the swallow, you'll get this option.
First sign of spring.
And there you go.
I like.
Small gift for giving a damn. So then you can speak to her about this, you get some extra stuff. So she says about needing buckthorn, and that's why we speak to her first before we go and do other stuff. And there we go. Right, so we'll get a few extra things here. You'll see them just pop up. So that's on Death's Bed, which is the extra quest that she gave us, and then we subsequently immediately completed, and that gives you a big chunk of experience and also nets you some extra crowns like that. So that's why it's very useful to do, and then it gets you some extra stuff. So it gives you venom extract, the cursed oil manuscript, which is, you know, something you can create later for certain types of enemies, and she gives you a book as well, which will teach you about a certain type of enemy. So after we've got that, you can see what herbs she's got, and the reason that it's very useful to try and check which ones she's got is because sometimes she'll have some really crucial stuff. I'm not going to buy these, but this here, bison grass. If you see bison grass, always buy it. It never costs a lot, it's needed for beast oil, and you never find it in the wild. It's not a plant you ever pick, or virtually never. So yeah, that's a good idea to be able to pick that up as well. We need some of these things to be able to make a bomb, so we need saltpeter. So you can buy that from her if you wish. I will actually usually wait, but as it's only 25 crowns, I'll probably end up buying some this time. But let's just have a look at what we can sell to her first. So because she is a herbalist, as we said before, you want to hang on to these honeycombs. Normally they sell for 4 crowns, but to her you can sell them for more. So sell all 6 of those, got 42 crowns there. Now saltpeter, she will give you some as a reward soon for another bit of a subquest that we're going to do. And so you don't have to be buying these, you can just hang on a little bit and get the saltpeter from her, but if you want to create some later, then you can do that as well. So basically what we're wanting to be doing now is we can either go and try and get our swords upgraded, or we can just be well, we don't want to buy 10 of those, just buy 1 for now. You can either try and get your swords upgraded, or we can try and do the Devil in the Well side quest. So it's up to you which you want to try. Devil in the Well, it's not particularly difficult side quest. I would prefer to try and get basically I would try and prefer to get that little bit of experience, get to level 2 first probably, and then get the swords. But I'll cover how you would go about getting the swords first, and you can decide whether you want to do it first or afterwards. So first things first, we need to get buckthorn. We can also get another place of power here, but we don't have the levels to equip that just yet. So this is the place, this church here on the map is the place where we would find out about the sword upgrade. So I'm going to be doing that in just a moment as well. So we will try and get the buckthorn first. So again, we're just going to change the description there, and then we'll go and get our swords upgraded, because it's very good to have the swords upgraded, and we might as well do it sooner rather than later. So you can get some buckthorn here. We've already been here. This is where we did the pan quest, so you could always leave that until now if you wanted to. And we're just going to swim and get some of this buckthorn. So there's plenty of stuff here. There are a couple of chests in this river as well, and the chests are important to pick up because basically they have recipes in usually, and you want to get all of those recipes because you never know which you're going to find in which place a lot of the time, and you want to get as many as possible. So if you see these, there you go, grave hag decoction. So that's another decoction one, and there'll often be chests throughout the river, and you want to pick those up. So if you use your witcher senses, you can see them from a distance like that, and you want to pick those up, and sometimes you'll find useful ones there. So like, we haven't got any that are absolutely crucial yet, but always a good idea to get those anyway. They also contribute towards a skill called acquired tolerance, which is how you get your toxicity level increased, and that's very good because we're going to be using a lot of alchemy throughout this playthrough. Now there, beast oil, enhanced beast oil, that's a very useful one. So once we get the beast oil, we'll be wanting to get the enhanced version of it later. Beasts are very common enemies, so bears, wolves, all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, you want to be making sure that you pick up all these manuscripts whenever possible, and just use your witcher senses to see if there are any about. And witcher senses are very useful for that. So now we've got the buckthorn, we can go and ask the hunter where the bodies are if necessary, or we can try and find some extra stuff like this. Just, you can sometimes see from the shore and see if there are going to be any more chests that you can pick up. There are about 4 or 5 throughout the river, I think, in White Orchard, that you can usually pick up and get those diagrams, get a few different diagrams from. Okay, so as we said before, now we're going to make our way this way to the church. So we'll call Roach in. Where are you, darling? On the other side of the river. How useful. Right.
Run, Roach.
Right. Oh, okay. That was a bit deep, so Roach disappeared. Why, it was annoying she came on the other side of the river, but whatever. Magical teleporting demon horsey, yay! Alright, let's go.
Faster.
Right, so we'll get Roach. We will ride all the way up here. There's the Temerian Valuables side quest that we got before when we were exploring the river. We'll bring you back this way eventually. So we'll do that in a little bit. But first things first, if we're going to be getting the swords at some point, which we are anyway, we might as well focus on doing it early. So we'll go and get these swords. That can be our next focus and point of contact. And that's what we're going to do here. Another good source of celandine. So here you see this wraith is level 7. So you want to be a little bit more careful with this. So we're going to use our tawny owl. We're going to put Erden down, which is a the trap sign that we've not used yet. And we're going to wait for this thing to turn up. So it'll turn hittable when you get it in Erden. And there you can see you can get some proper hits on it there. Make sure you've got swallow at the ready to increase that stamina regeneration. Keep Quen up and Erden. Now the other signs don't really do much to these things, but you only have to do half of its health. So did half its health there, drew from Igni, use that water to just heal while we're outside of combat. And we've got Tawny Owl and Swallow here, still got a couple of those available. And then we take out the rest of its health here, so we use our other Tawny Owl. And then you can see you can get some solid hits on it there. And although it does quite a lot of damage, you can take a couple of hits from it. Oils, bombs and potions are consumed upon use and can run out. To replenish your stocks, enter the meditation panel. If you have hard alcohol, it will automatically be used to create a new batch of every alchemy item that you have. That's very important. So we're just going to make sure that, you know, if you're going to meditate anyway, like I'm going to meditate and get my Tawny Owl back here, but if I'm not at full health, I absolutely should be using up Swallow before that, because it's going to cost me the same number of hard alcohol, i.e. 1, to be meditating and getting the Tawny Owl back and all the Swallow at once. So make sure that you heal yourself up with Swallow. I will normally try and you know, use up, if I know that I've, like here I've got essentially like a free use of Swallow, because I'm going to be meditating anyway. So if I need to get something done that may need another use of swallow, I may as well do that before I meditate, and that is exactly what we're going to do now. Now what we just got was an item about a treasure hunt and the school scavenger hunt for the Viper gear. So we want to find the other element of Viper school gear, and what we just found was the part about crafting an extra sword, the silver sword. So we found one silver ingot already. We're going to try and find another and get some emerald dust, and then we will be able to make that sword, and we need to go and find the steel sword diagram. So that's the part of our quest that we are on with now. So I'm going to try and get those first. Now, whilst we're in this area, there is also another place of power that we can pick up, and there's also a ghoul nest, and that is why I bought one of the saltpeter a little bit earlier, because it's going to let us make our first bomb. And so again, with celandine and one saltpeter, which we bought from Tomira, that allowed us to make our first bomb. And you need any kind of salmon or grape shot bomb, so either of those, to be able to destroy monster nests, which are another one of those question marks on the map that show up. And you can blow them up with their dancing star as well. So yeah, there you go. So we've got the place of power here. Meditate first, and then we can get a little bit of extra power on Ard and try and take these things out. So ghouls, again, you want to be a little bit careful with ghouls. This is deathmatch, so they can do a decent amount of damage. So try and get some slashes in. They're not as susceptible to burning, and as you can see there, I took a hit, so I want to back off. Use that last use of swallow, which is what I was saying about getting the most out of your potions by using up all your alchemy stuff that may be useful. And we made good use of that last swallow potion, and now we'll be able to meditate to get everything back. So we created our first bomb there, and that lets us destroy this nest and get some other stuff. So we'll see what useful items we get from here. A little bit of experience for doing that as well. Ghoul's blood, bone marrow, some other stuff that we might be able to use for alchemy a little bit later. And we've got one last ghoul come out. And normally if you get an extra ghoul that comes out of the nest, you'll get extra experience for defeating that last ghoul, which is what we got there. And we go up to level 2, which is fabulous. So we're going to meditate to get all of our stuff back first. Give you information about the quick access menu, and also you can normally meditate. Where is meditation? There we go. So we meditate there. Alkahest was used, strong alcohol used to replenish our alchemy items. As you can see, bottom left, we've got our 2 bombs back and the Tawny Owl as well. Woohoo! So we've got our 2 bombs and all of the potions back for the cost of just 1 alcohol. And we'll already have quite a few alcohol. You can check how many you've got in your inventory, but as you can see, I've got a couple of Dwarven Spirit, 5 Alkahest, a couple of Nilfgaardian Lemon. So we've already got plenty of meditations available in order to get everything back. Got Temerian Rye, Redanian Herbal, so even if we run out of these 2, we've still got a couple of meditations left as well. And because you get all of these potions back every time you meditate, that's very useful. And that's why I love alchemy in The Witcher 3. Right, so next port of call, we got to level 2, we've got another empty slot. So there are quite a few directions you can go in for this. You can just put your fast attack damage up by using those 3 points on muscle memory if you wish, which is a good call. You could absolutely do that. So that's one way you could go about it. You could use signs, so you could get your Ard reaching a bit further. You could get more the sustained glyphs to make Erden last longer. You could get delusion so that you can affect some of the dialogue information as well and get but what I'm actually going to go with is I'm going to go with poison blades if we're going to be focusing on the alchemy tree. So the plan that I'm going to be doing for an alchemy build is to get acquired tolerance and poison blades. Acquired tolerance gets better the more alchemy recipes you've found, so we're not going to be using that just yet because we've not found many recipes just yet, so it's not making a big difference. But poison blades, once you start creating oils, will allow you to poison enemies, and that is very useful. So we want to be doing that first. Just a quick thing, you can often check tree stumps if you come across tree stumps and get some extra money that way. For some reason there is money often hidden in those. So now what we've got is we've got the information about how we can make the silver sword, and we can also search the castle ruins, which are down here, and get information about how we would potentially be able to get the steel sword. So we're going to do that as well. The steel sword's easier to make than the silver one. You generally just need I think you need emerald dust for each of them, but you can use places. You sometimes get them from killing wraiths as well.
Draw from it.
Already did draw from it, Geralt, don't you worry about it. As we were saying before, you've also got this quest round here, where you can often find useful things. So if we're having a look, we've got silver and saltpeter. That's extremely useful. That silver is how we will make the silver ingot and be able to make our silver sword. So that's very useful. And again, we've got more alchemist, useful stuff to pick up here. Make sure you're looting all this stuff. Got silver ore there as well. So silver's not going to be a problem after we've looted these sort of things. So all we'll be needing is that emerald dust. Now you can buy emerald dust, but I think it's quite expensive. You can buy it from the guy who actually makes the swords for you. But better to actually like find it, and you'll normally get it for killing wraiths and things like that. And you can normally find it around the Devil in the Well area as well. So we destroy this. And this is following the little quest there, Temerian valuables. Now we've got our beast oil, that's really good. That's one that we want to be using a lot, so that's great. Got a better saddle there as well, which is very useful for Roach. And so all in all, very successful little quest there, got some useful things. Now we were saying about the beast oil before, it needs wolf's liver and dog tallow for the basic one, and then the enhanced one needs bison grass, which is why we wanted to buy the bison grass. So we need a lot of bear fat for that. We'll not be able to get those just yet. We don't want to spend all the money on that to get bear fat. We'll just pick those up throughout the game. But wolf's liver we'll get from fighting some dogs or wild dogs or wolves a little bit later, and then we'll be able to make beast oil, and it'll be a little bit easier from then on with those types of enemies. So we've got that little side quest done as well. Just going to come here because I know full well that there is usually a honeycomb around here somewhere. Yep, so get that little bit of extra money. Every little helps. Sorry Roach, I'm setting you on fire, sweet. There you go. Oh, she run off now, she's in a mood with me. My bad. Grab that honeycomb, a little bit of extra money next time we go to pay Tamira a visit. Okay, so I'm just going to go and get the diagram from the castle ruins now. We'll come back this way a little bit later anyway, so don't have to bother picking up these herbs, because this is actually where you end up fighting the griffin. Let's go. Let's go, let's go. So we're going to ride all this way. What did I set my custom marker for there? Oh, I was going to fast travel. Nah, that doesn't matter. Right, so we've got all these places to explore. This is another place of power. This is an abandoned site. You can get loads of useful stuff. But first things first, let's go and get the diagram so that as soon as we are able to get the items for the steel sword, we'll be able to make it. Because that's very useful as well. So, okay. So the emerald dust tends to be the limiting factor in how you can go about making those. But we'll get them eventually, either from collecting and looting various things in White Orchard or from fighting wraiths. There are a couple of the wraiths that you can fight as well. And so here, this area is where we want to be going for the steel sword. So again, we're going to make sure that we get Quinn up before we fight these guys. Got to fight a couple of guys at once, but even though it's on deathmatch, it shouldn't really be that difficult. We just got to be careful.
Pathetic.
Whoops! Later, dude! Okay. So, again, we can deal fire damage to these guys. We've got a slightly better chance of dealing fire damage and burning them because we have got the extra points in our... We've got the extra points in Griffin School Techniques, which gives us a better chance of burning. Just make sure that if you don't burn them, you can't really parry this guy as well because he's got an axe. So, again, you could use Tawny Owl if you want, but I'm able to just burn him, and then by the time he sort of recovers from being set on fire, he's already dead, and then we're good. Okay. So when you've got this, you get the steel sword recipe, diagram rather, from there. Serpentine steel sword, so make sure we've got that. Glyph of Igni, that's always useful. And then we can pick up anything else that's knocking about here. Anything else that needs collecting. Then we're good to go. So, we've completed that Viper School thing there. There's a couple of herbs on the walls. Those are different types of herbs, so you want to grab those. Read the interesting notes if you would like. Pick up the swords or whatever else from this guy as well. And it had knocked a body off the edge, so I could try and try and find where he'd landed, but not that bothered about it. And again, you get their swords because you might as well sell or dismantle those, just to be useful that way. Right. Make our way back down here carefully. Okay. This is the other place that you could go to try and get drowners and things like that. There are a couple of drowners. There are different places to be able to explore. So you just be looking on the map and trying to find the undiscovered locations. One of them, as you can see there, that question mark on my map, is taking me to this bridge. There's a load of great little stuff to get here, so just going to try and loot some of this. Again, leather scraps, Perrin runestone, that's a good little runestone as well that you could always put in the stores, and that you could put in your swords rather, if you want. And yeah, really good little source of some extra stuff. So amethyst there, that's quite valuable. You can get that as well. And then just make sure that we're picking up everything that we can here, and that's very useful. So now we'll just have a quick check, see what I'm missing for making the swords. So still missing that emerald dust and silver ingot, and we need an emerald dust for the steel sword as well. So I'll go and do the Devil in the Well contract and see if I can you know, get some of those emerald dust for making those swords. So we've already looted everything here, that's all sorted. Nothing to get on this side, so we're good to go. So I'll go and loot everything at Devil in the Well, see if we get any emerald dust, either from fighting that wraith or from looting the things around there, because the game's pretty good about making sure that if you do things in a normal-ish order, you get the things that you need to be able to make the swords by the end of White Orchard. We've already got one silver ingot, and we can very easily make another from the silver that we've picked up. If we can just jump up here, and Geralt's having none of it.
Turn back or go forward.
There we go. Okay, so let us try and do Devil in the Well. So we're going to follow that, and we're going to go and take out the spirit. So now we're level 2, we've already got our Griffin School techniques, and even though we haven't got the exact silver sword that we will be needing, we're just going to try and plan on getting those a little bit later. You can try and get another place of power by taking on the bear there as well, but we're going to leave that for a little bit later. Not particularly difficult to do, but it can definitely be done if you wish to try that. But I might as well just go and see Devil in the Well and see if we can do that first, because it's only a level 2 contract, it's designed to be done pretty early, and it's really not that difficult, so we'll try that first. So you follow it along to this area here, and I swear that usually you didn't have to fight the wraith first.
Strange, no sign of a ghost. Maybe it only shows at a certain time of day.
Yeah, maybe. Right, anyway, so you got to find the evidence.
Grass around the well scorched. Grass around the well.
Yes,
scorched.
we know, I want the puffball all my life, Geralt. Alright, whatever. Okay, so there's all this stuff to pick up, and you can look around, and this is where you'll normally get a bear fat as well. There tends to be a bear fat to loot. There you go, bear fat and saltpeter, so I didn't need to buy that one from Tamira, but whatever. And a couple of other alchemists and things like that as well. And we're going to look in all the huts eventually as well. Might have just got myself a silver ingot there. Yep, so we've got another silver ingot, so we've got enough for that. So we literally just want those emerald dust, and then we'll be able to make both of the swords, which is fantastic. Smash this out of the way with Ard. We're going to investigate all of these things, and just pick up anything that's potentially useful. Stuff like a smoking pipe, you can like sometimes dismantle it into other stuff, but it's like junk dismantling into junk most of the time. So just pick up everything. if it's not useful, you can always sell it or dismantle it later and make some money that way. And you'll not really get overburdened, because Geralt can only carry a certain amount of stuff, but you're normally alright when you're just picking up junk early in the game. So we look at all of these little huts, see if there's anything useful in any of these, and pick up everything there. We've got some more florins, a couple of other items, more bear fat there, so it's very good to do that and get the bear fat first and see if that helps you make anything. So we picked up a dog tallow there, so even though we've not fought any dogs yet, we can make necrophage oil, which we can use on drowners, and spectre oil, which will be very useful for the upcoming fight. So now that we've got that spectre oil, we can apply that to your sword. So because we're going to be fighting a spectre here, we go and apply the spectre oil on the silver sword. We also picked up a saddle, if I remember correctly, so we're just gonna, this tells you about your blade oils, so yeah, use the blade oils. Apply them. We've already done it, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Right, so got a different saddle there. Make sure that you have a look at this, because you can get that little bit of extra, but you can also sell the old saddle, and they take up a ton of inventory space. Like, they weigh so much. Like, that weighs 5 out of our 60 total inventory space. So the inventory is filling up a little bit, so you want to be mindful of that. Sell that saddle as soon as you can, because they just take up a ton of weight. Everybody always misses that because it's on its own little tab, almost hidden away. So yeah, we want to be having a look at that. So then we see if there's anything else useful here, and we also need to read the inventory, the bestiary item about these. So you can just scan through it, you don't have to actually read it, but there's Devil by the Well, there's the noonwraith ones and things. It tells you that spectre oil and urge are very useful against them, so that's what we're going to be doing.
Animals fed on his body. Skeleton clean.
And we've got the journal as well. I'm just smashing through this because obviously I'm already already played this game a million times anyway. So I'm going to skip this. We find that we need to look at the well and see what's cracking. So okay. Come on. Right. So we can examine that.
But the line's taut. Something's not right. A corpse. Woman.
Corpse hanging by a bucket, Grim.
What? Need to... Was she wearing the brick? Got it.
So her arm's fallen off, basically. Which is a little bit grim, but never mind. So we've got to jump down the well. Right. There's a couple of useful things to get here. That red thing is obviously the goal. But you also want to pick up this over here. Make sure you're looting that. Optima Mater is something that you use for various alchemy stuff as well. And we want to find our way out of the cave. Can get some mushrooms there as well. Right, and this is the place we want to be going to get out. Just use your Witcher senses; it'll show up if you, you know, potentially got something to pick up. There are a couple of things in this cave which are useful. So we've got the bracelet there, which is great. And you can pick up a few other things, and then we'll go and take on the spirit. So find a way out of the cave first of all. Again, there's usually stuff to pick up at the bottom here. Use your Witcher senses to show up anything interesting. Anything yellow or red you want to be collecting. I think there is another mini chest somewhere around here, and there's definitely one before the end. Yeah, so there's a chest here. Make sure you collect whatever's in that, including the we got the exploding bolt diagram there. Fiend decoction. It's not a particularly useful one, but we want to collect them all anyway, and like I say, they do increase your overall toxicity with the acquired tolerance skill. And then we want to be coming out of here, escaping, and then we'll take on the Spectre, who is a noonwraith. That's during the day, obviously. So we're going to do that, and then we go from there. There's another chest in this lake here.
To prepare for this fight. brew some wraith oil, drink some potions.
Yeah. So, there's the other one. Let's go and grab this. And then we'll go and take her on. So, I'll normally, you can very occasionally get a different medium gear that's very marginally better gauntlets and stuff like that. So you can always have a check of whatever you pick up, but because Griffin School Techniques is so good, I'm absolutely fine with sticking with the starting gear for the most part. You get a lot of light armor really in the game, so you can replace your medium armor and use Cat School Techniques, which give you more fast attack damage and critical hit damage bonuses. But because you can't in any way, shape or form guarantee critical hits, and it is useful for the fast attack damage, so you can go with light and do that as well, but it can be useful, but I much prefer the sign intensity and particularly the stamina regeneration. Okay, so it's telling me about runestones, so I can put runestones in my armor and stuff like that. I've already done that. Switch back to that sword. So yeah, there's a few things you can do there, but just going to make sure I've got Spectre Oil on my blade already, and then we'll be good to take her on. Meditate if you don't have your potions to hand, because you're going to need those. Or not need them, but they just make the fight easier. So where is her body? So we burn the body and then she turns up.
And the bracelet. Igni.
So there are a couple of things for this first fight. You want to be using Erden and Quen, and you want to have that Spectre Oil, so that's useful. We want to get Quen on first, and then be using Tornial to keep our stamina regeneration up, and then that allows us to use Erden and get some solid hits on her, like that. She will eventually split off into three separate. She'll split off into three separate things like this, which can drain your health when they get close to you. But you can actually knock these out with Ard to stop them from draining your health. So if you keep your distance, you see there they were draining my health a bit, but you can knock them out with Ard from a distance, stop them from draining your health, and that's very useful in terms of actually stopping the health drain. She doesn't get too much health back, you don't lose too much health, and then be good to go. Might as well put on a swallow as well, and there you see, that was pretty easy. So as long as you understand and prepare properly, we're pretty good. And we get an emerald dust there, and a trophy, and a noonwraith mutagen, so all in all, very useful. Alright. Woo! So with one emerald dust there, that gives us enough to be able to make one of the swords. You can choose whether you want the steel one or the silver one first, and we'll decide that in due course. Couple of other things that we can do. So now we just need to be doing the main quest, and then we need to be doing these other places of power. So there's a few things we can do. We can pick these up. We want to be doing all of these and getting the other places of power and a few things like that. So let us have a look. So we've also got a mutagen now, so we can put a mutagen in that slot, and we can do that. So here we've got a noonwraith mutagen, we just put that there and we get a tiny bit of extra vitality. Not going to make a lot of difference to be honest, but yeah, there you have it. It shows you about how if you match them up with green, it'll give you that little bit of extra boost. So put that mutagen in the slot. Right, so we return to Odolan for our reward first of all. We'll do that and then we'll go and make one of the swords. There is also on the way, you could do this place of power here, and there's a bandit camp that we could also sort out. And then this one is a place of power with a wraith, so I'll try and get that one on the way. So we'll go and do that first, because if we kill another wraith, the one that's guarding that place of power, we might get another emerald dust, and then we can build both of the swords, and that'll be useful. But I'll go and speak to Odolan first, get our reward, and sort that out. I think I'll probably make the steel sword first, because you've got, like, again, there's Arenaria and stuff around here, all these fields that you can you know, be collecting. Loads of Celandine around here as well. So this is this area of the map, It's a very useful place to be looking. No enemies about. Just scanning with the Witcher sensors, nothing there. So we're good to go for now. We'll go and make the sword first, and then we'll sort everything else out after that. So usually there will be a wraith turning up, either before or after you draw here, and then we can try and take her out. Where are you? Bet she turns up in a minute. She normally does. Wraith! Hello! There you go.
Show me.
Just wait for her to turn up. Try and see if she'll give me an emerald dust. Again, just keep Quen up. It doesn't last for quite a little long time, so we're good there. Can afford to take a hit or two. Getting patient. And you can always just pop swallow whenever that's happening as well. Strong hits in Erden. Take her out. Give me an emerald dust. Oh, amethyst dust. That's no good. Okay. Well, that's her taken out anyway. If worst comes to worst, you can wait until you've destroyed some of the monster nests. You can sometimes get emerald dust from those as well. It's quite useful. We'll go and get the silver sword first. The steel sword first, sorry. And then we can try and take out the enemies with Nizlaf. So he's the guy who we need to speak to about He's the guy that we need to speak to about the other part of the main quest, so we'll do that. Where are we going? Okay, so we could go over here, or we could go... yeah, we'll just go to the garrison, go back. In fact, I'll just fast travel to the garrison, that'll be quicker. Seems how we've got this fast travel part here. Whoa, easy, tiger. You'll often get emerald dust from either killing the wraiths or from destroying some of the monster nests. There are monster nests like this one over here is a monster nest as well, where we started. So you'll normally find one through the normal natural progression of doing those kind of things. Alrighty. So yeah, because the wolves are annoying, if I come across any wolves, you want to be getting the steel sword first, I think. Okay, so there you got emerald dust. And we can make the Viper steel sword. Very useful. He did have emerald dust for buying, but 449 crowns. That's why you have to find it, because otherwise it's going to be a crazy amount. But you can also sell some of this stuff to him. Don't need any of these. Are any of these medium? No. Those are medium, those are slightly better than the ones we got now. But this light armor I'm not going to make use of myself, so whichever one you decide to go with, just sell the other one. Okay. Not going to put anything in the sword yet. It has one slot for a rune, but not going to put anything in it just yet because I want to get a Divana runestone later. So we're going to grab this stuff. Now we've got our steel sword, so our damage is a lot higher against bandits and wolves, and that's very useful. So we're going to head back to White Orchard, get my reward from Odolan for the Devil in the Well. I could actually... I think I got an emerald, and I could actually dismantle the emerald, but do I want to do that? Probably not just yet. We'll have a look. Yeah, because I think you can dismantle the emerald into a emerald dust as well if you want. So if you're really struggling to find emerald dust, if you don't find any by the end of White Orchard or anything, then you can always dismantle an emerald. I believe I found one of those earlier, so you could dismantle that as well. But not too keen on doing that just yet. I'm sure I'll find emerald dust, and I don't need that silver sword just yet. See if Elsa has the third of the decoys. Always check with Elsa. and see if she has any. There we go, got the third decoy there. Can sell some of this stuff to her as well if you wanted. So yeah, we've got quite a few things we can do. Sell that, sell that, sell that. Okay, so plenty of stuff to be getting on with. Sell some of this junk. You can always just keep a couple if you're not sure what's what early on. But you know, you can get a fair amount from selling hides and stuff like that. Wolf hides, they tend to go for a little bit more. So you can sell this stuff, and the old goat hides and things like that. Just want to be selling as much of that. She doesn't have enough money left now, so we can only sell a couple of those. And as you can see there, we just made a decent amount of money, so we're up to 726 just from selling that junk, which is great. And that's why you want to be selling some of the things that you're never going to be using. Like if you're sticking to medium armor, you're going to be using your witch gear, might as well sell the rest of the light armor that you pick up and stuff like that. So that's why we're doing that. Have I been in this house? I cannot remember, you know. Let's have a look. Right, so a few other things to be looting and exploring. Grab all this stuff, and this is why looting's really good, because like well, in a game, don't loot in real life, folks. But yeah, that's why you can get all this useful stuff. Later on, there are people you can sell books to as well, so a tiny bit of extra money to be made there. And we can have a look at if we wanted to dismantle something, see if there is any way of us getting emerald dust. So let's have a look. Dismantling is this end tab. It shows you where you can dismantle things here. Dismantle your items shows you on the right what it'll be and what you can make and stuff, what you'd get out of it. So here, because I found an emerald, I could actually dismantle this into emerald dust, so that would cost me 48 and it would make a couple of emerald dust. So if you're hurting for how to make, you know, how to get those emerald dust, then you could do it that way as well. So just something to bear in mind. You could also make silver ingots out of silver if you hadn't found any silver ingots, so that's another way of doing it as well. Right, how are we going to get this emerald dust? Let me have... There aren't any other wraiths that I'm aware of, so we need to be exploring these other places and seeing if we find anywhere else. So I'm just going to go and clear out the other places of power now, and then we'll go from there. So we have our steel sword, we can use that against the bears that are here and the bandits that are at all these ones. So I'll clear out this one first because it's out of the way. And then we'll go, actually no, yeah, we'll clear out this one first and then we'll go and clear out all these. So now we are just going to be finishing off the other stuff in White Orchard. So if you want to skip ahead for a bit, feel free, but I'll just be clearing out all these little pieces and picking up everything that there is to do in White Orchard before we progress the main mission. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so just put my Tony Owl potion. Going to try and close the gap on the archers first. Rolling does take your stamina, but it covers a lot of ground quickly, so let's get a roll in there. Get Quinn up before we do anything else. And if you can, you try and hit a couple of them with Igni as well. Pick up all this stuff, whatever they leave behind. You can hear wolves with your Witcher sensors as well. Kill a whale, that allows you to dive more, that's always good. Alright, so make sure we pick up everything there. A little less afraid of the wolves now that we do have, you know, the better steel sword, can take them down a bit quicker. Because bunches of wolves are a real pain, so that's why so far I've been trying to avoid those, because you don't really get a lot from them, particularly with having that dog tallow from the part of Devil in the Well. Just not really with it, so we need to take these things out. Go this way, there's another place of power. This one's guarded by a bear. You can actually do this like a lot earlier if you wanted. so it's not difficult.
Giddy up.
Need to get down this way. Oh no. We might be alright.
That's it, Roach.
Jump! Yeah, nice. Right, okay. So now we can just go this way, gallop along. Yeah, so this place of power down here is an earthen one, and this is guarded by a bear. So, you don't like have to take it out, really, early on. It's quite easy to do so, particularly once you've got that first place of power and Griffin School techniques. So you absolutely can do it, but might as well have waited until we got the steel sword, and then we'll be absolutely fine to do that. So here's the bear.
Place of power. It's gotta be.
So we can try and set him burning, and we've poisoned him there as well, because the steel sword can deal poisoning, which is another great thing about it. So that's why the Viper Sword's so good. So we've got that little bit of poisoning, we've got the burning. This is going to let our stamina regenerate as well. And yeah, use that last tornado. And you can see how much quicker the regeneration is with that. So bears, not that difficult, especially because you're virtually always fighting them one-on-one. Now there's something to pick up here. There's a little chest on the ground. Get another saddle there. We do need to sell those actually. See, even if I even said earlier, don't forget to sell the saddles, and then forgot to sell the saddles. So we'll have to do that at some point. Scum. Okay. So let's just clear out these separate things that we've found. So gonna clear out a bandit camp there and these drowners along the shore, stuff like that.
Faster.
Okay, so got some ghouls to take out here. Hey, cheeky little son of a gun, hit me. Right. So try and get the ghouls taken out. We can do a little bit of extra damage from having the necrophage oil. Ghouls are necrophages, so put that on. Managed to get the poison in there as well. And what's great about having that is with the poison blade skill is when you've got that blade oil on, you can poison them not just from the Viper Sword, but from the poison blade skill as well. So that means that when you're dodging away and building up your Quen, you've got a bit better chance of inflicting poisoning, which is very useful. As you can see, ghouls can jump from quite a long way away, so you need to be a bit careful of those. Try and hit those. We use that last swallow. We'll meditate after the fight, and then if you're able to burn them as well, they'll take all that damage, and then you can put them down. Now pick up all this useful stuff. With this abandoned site, it's a bit funny sometimes. Like sometimes you'll kill them and then it won't clear the abandoned site. So if you just meditate, the other one will turn up, and then you'll clear that. And then once you kill this one, then the abandoned site will be cleared. So get some fire damage on it. When you're fighting them 1v1 like that, you've got the poisoning and the damage there, and it's quite easy that way. And then all of a sudden the abandoned site's cleared. So just a quick tip there: if it doesn't clear the abandoned site, meditate, and then you're good to go. Get a little chunk of experience there. Pick the stuff up from the ghouls. This guy turns up as a herbalist, so you can speak to him, see if he's got anything useful.
Got it.
So again, what I'm always checking for is the rarer ones. So mandrake root, allspice, you don't need them right now. There's nothing I need to crucially make, so just have a look. I could get the wolf liver to make beast oil if I wanted. Not really necessary, but I suppose I could do. I'll be killing some wolves at some point, but so I tend not to. You can buy ergo seeds, you can buy green mold. I do tend to buy a couple of these because these ones are not rare exactly, but you don't find them out and about. But again, if they have bison grass, which this guy doesn't, always buy bison grass. So Wartag decoction, raid decoction, both quite useful, but again, don't need them yet. 80 and 55, that's quite a lot to be spending early in the game. So I tend to just, unless you need something or it's something that you use all the time, like beast oil, an enhanced necrophage oil, hangman's venom, I just tend to try and find them first and then sort that out later. So I'd just try and save money, buy important things, craft your armor and stuff like that later on. So there's a bandit camp in this area of the woods, so we'll go and find that. Put Quenon out of combat, it lasts that little bit of time, so you're still alright. Kill the guys, the archers first. Okay. And if you do take a few hits, then just make sure that you try and back off a bit. You can parry with left trigger, which is what I just did there. And again, the great thing about the kill if you love the gods. The great thing about the fire damage is it also incapacitates them, allowing you to get some good solid hits in. So, okay, another one bites the dust. And there is emerald dust, and this is why we have to go and explore all the time, and why it's not really worth dismantling that emerald before or anything like that, because now we can sell that emerald and we've still got the emerald dust for making our silver sword, so that's very useful. So I could fast travel and go and do that right away, but because I'm not exactly struggling with combat right now, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go and take out the drowners, as was the plan anyway. And then next time it's convenient for me to fast travel, I'll fast travel up and make the silver sword, but I don't feel the need to do it right away, so just go and take these guys out first. You can only use one food item at once, so no point me using multiple of these waters that I'm just using to heal, but just worth mentioning. Just get the one of those to heal outside of combat. So food to heal outside of combat, not as useful in combat by any stretch, so you swallow in combat usually. And here are some drowners. So again, we want to reapply our necrophage oil. You only get 20 uses of the basic oil, which is another reason to try and be upgrading those as soon as possible when you're out and about in the world. Not really relevant yet because we don't have the you know, the capabilities or the alchemy recipes to do it for a start. But you can see why I love Griffin Skull technique so much as the first skill that you'll take. It just synergizes perfectly, and it's the best one to use with that medium armor, and because we've upgraded that pretty much straight away, that's a very effective use of our resources and that first ability point. So although poison blades is useful, it's far from like necessary. It's just like an added bonus really, and it's more to be having access to that later part of the skill tree, which is what we'll be doing next. So again, we've got these red barrels, which are very useful, so you can try and draw a few of the drowners into those, and then get your own, keep your own distance and draw them into the explosion. And they take a lot of damage that way. If you can get a couple of them in the line of the blast of Igni, that's very useful as well. Set them all burning all at once. You don't always set them burning, but the chance is better from having the Griffin Skull techniques because it increases your sign intensity, which correspondingly, increases your burning chance. And again, we've got that swallow, and it's plenty of healing as long as you're not taking a lot of hits very quickly. And again, this is another good source of the Drowner Brain. If this is one place you can come to get all the stuff for Swallow early on. So I'll normally get it from here actually, but I just got it already somewhere else. Find a few diagrams, basilisk decoction, things of that nature. And now I'm just gonna, like I say, go around and finish off these different points of interest. Get various different things from there. So next one's very close. You can also draw your sword manually to see if you've run out of oil on it. Like there, I don't have any oil on it. And this is, I believe, the nest with the ghouls. So I want to be reapplying the necrophage oil again. Because there are several of them all together, I'll actually just get Tonial going as well. You can also use Erden to slow these things down, especially when there's big group. It lets you fight and be in less danger of taking hits, and also if you've got Tornial to let your stamina regenerate quickly, it gives you a better chance of tagging multiple ghouls at once with Igni, which is very useful. And then you can see how quickly you can take them out, like that. Ow! You cheeky little son of a gun. I'm just gonna focus on getting Quen back off in a sec. And that's why you don't normally. That's why I don't normally go Quen. That's why I normally go Quen first instead of Igni, because you're not guaranteed to be burning them. It's very useful to instead be keeping that Quen up. So destroy that with a bomb. Collect all the stuff that they give you. Got quite a lot of good stuff there from the ghoul nest. And again, if you want, you can meditate and see if another ghoul pops out and give you a bit of extra experience. So we've got quite a lot of alcohol, so I'm fine doing that now. Nothing popping up there though, so that's alright. And this is right back where we were at the start. Let's find out what else we've got. Just one area there. We have, whilst we're in the area, got a secondary quest as well. So we can speak to this guy. Again, Celandine and Verbena, things like that. Grab some of those whilst we're in the vicinity. Where's Roach? There she is. Come on, baby. Alrighty. Yeah, I can't even remember what this undiscovered location is. I can say it's not a place of power, that's about it. Ah, bandit camp, okay. Cool. Alright. Ah, Archer over there, we'll take him out first if at all possible. There we go. They're annoying. Are you really? I kinda doubt it. Ha! Pathetic, whoa. Alright girl, just tell him. Damn dude! Alright. Nice easy one. Nothing particularly amazing to pick up there though, really, but whatever. Nope. There is some stuff down there to collect as well, but it means coming back up, which is annoying. I should go and collect it really, I suppose. Especially in case there's any alchemy recipe. Make sure you hit roll at the bottom there. Ah, there you go, green mold. Yeah, that was some useful stuff, I suppose. I feel like there's a honeycomb around here somewhere as well. It's tugging at my memory. Yeah. A few florins, couple of little glyphs of Quen. Quite useful. Is there anything there? Already got it. Okay. Few wolves and things like that. Okay, so our next point of call is going to be speaking to this guy. We've already actually been in this area. It's where I said right at the start you jump off Roach at the start and explore to try and get a silver ingot, which we did. But now we can go back to speak to this guy and progress the side quest, which we can be doing a little bit later. Okay, that's it for the episode. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you all next time on the path.